sitting on anything extra at that point.
Just order what we need when they tell us what the price is. And
Yeah.
They're ready to ship. And I think we ought to go out and get as many of those out there as we can. Kind of first one back, if the price is right, we take that. I mean, if there's no commitment on our end, because there's no commitment on their end, I think we just need to flood the market with us. See who comes through.
Because basically that's what I'm doing on all parts.
Yeah.
Just trying, because finding parts now is almost impossible. And he did have a half a bundle of cross arms left, so that's 25 cross arms. And that's all he's got in stock for border states in this area.
But is there anything more, I mean, I get what you're saying, but based on what he's already received back, is there anything more, you know what I'm saying? Does that?
More sources.
Is there more sources out there to get this?
Still got Solomon, but they've never got back with me after I initially told them what I was looking for. And that's been 3 weeks, still haven't heard back.
We're dealing with distributors, not the manufacturers.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be a bunch of them. They're all placing orders on the manufacturers or rebuilding them themselves. Maybe they're all rebuild shops. But
Yeah.
there's gotta be multiple organizations.
So you propose to go ahead and order some now?
As long as there's no commitment that we buy them when they tell us what our price is.
Yeah, and that's what border states, I sat down and talked with him.
Nope. I mean, they're gonna use them anyway.
So they'll verify when they receive them and ready to ship, is what you're saying?
Right.
Yes. That's what I heard.
But border states actually came to the office and sat down and talked with me on this. And he's like, if you decide later on you don't want to order that many, just let me know. He said, do not cancel the order. He said, I will go ahead and receive everything that we're ordering, just so he's got stock.
Right. He would use our order for the manufacturer, bring them in. We don't want any or all of them. He's gonna sell them somewhere.
Exactly.
Especially if he
And
doesn't have that, the manufacturer's not gonna let him sell.
right, they're not letting him without us.
Exactly.
It's what
Order.
you're getting supplied somebody else.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to.
Yeah. We become a distributor.
Very true. I mean,
Just take a while.
that is a possibility as far as that goes too, because everybody's into the same boat right now. We were down there working that hurricane, and they were just praying that they didn't have a lot of blown transformers because they had very few in stock. And all the big boys had everything going south, and they're municipal just like us. And they had to wait until everything went down south before they could receive anything.
Did you go down there and work?
Yeah.
So basically what you're looking for the council is approval to go ahead and submit the order, correct?
That's what I'm looking for.
Any other questions, council? Alright, thank you. Anybody else like to speak to this agenda item? None, council discussion?
No, I guess I'd be interested to, it sounds like there's a plan for these going forward. How do we avoid getting to this spot again? What's the plan to have 6 of each on hand and plan our growth and make sure we don't get a point where, and when lead times go out that long at one time, it's inevitable if you're ordering kind of on a regular cadence, but it'd be kind of nice to have a plan where we're not sitting on a bunch of inventory, but be able to maintain the 666 that he's looking for.
I agree.
Something to discuss. I
I think we got
would be
the,
interested in hearing about
I think we got the opportunity to do it, Scott, let's do it.
it. Yeah,
And, part of the problem is just like what he's talking about with almost everything.
I think they saw the price hike last year and held off a little bit to see if the price would come back down.
the lead times move out unexpectedly, now you're stuck.
And
Good.
developments and stuff, and we need much more.
Not inevitable in this case.
And probably else they have quite some time. Not now,
No further discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that, Public Works gets, ordering the transformers.
Second.
Move to second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item, council committee reports, budget and finance, Scott.
We didn't meet since our last council meeting. Next meeting is Friday, 7:45 a.m., second floor city.
Community development, Corey.
We have not met since the last meeting. Our next meeting will be, the 31st is technically the last Monday of the month. That's how long you want to do the 24th?
Yeah.
I'll send that an email. Okay, next meeting, the 24th, 4 p.m., second floor city.
Public safety, Susan.
So we discussed the strategic plan objectives for Public Safety Committee, which are provide safe, affordable, reliable, and diverse services and support residents' physical, mental, financial, and social well-being. So I invited Wendy Conover from the library to attend the meeting after she spoke to us about the resources provided for rental assistance, which very much falls in line with our strategic objectives. Wendy informed us in talking to citizens that rental, food, transportation, and internet access needs were all very high on the list. And someone from Douglas County will be at the library weekly, and they'll help citizens complete applications for assistance and access the internet. So we just kind of talked about what we could do as a city to support what they're already doing. So we discussed maybe adding those resources on a page to the city website and just making that list readily available for city employees. And then of additional interest, she discussed community emergency preparedness training, which will be taking place at the library to create an emergency response team. And then we discussed the dog attack in Fire Tree, in which a citation was given. And the citation results in a court date. Red dog may be deemed a dangerous animal. And we discussed some of the information in the email, like regarding the fencing, but we determined that's likely homeowners association, isn't that what we decided?
Yeah, I don't think
Not.
it's, I think Dakota, that's not in our code anymore, you can't have fencing or galvanized fencing, chain link fencing, I guess we'll call it.
Well, what I'd say is, I think Sydney had listed the Article 26, so I'll go back through that, make sure, and if there's an indication that there's limitations on what homeowners can do, I'll let the Public Safety Committee know, but I don't have that from in second. I don't want to say yea or nay. I know the code itself is a little different, because that's
Typically, we don't put restrictions on that citywide, that's usually an HOA type of restriction. But Fire Tree's HOA is defunct because they don't have an association anymore, so. Yeah,
I can look into that and then get info from both the Public Safety Committee and then for the council generally too.
Or was it, they haven't had a meeting for 7 years, but
I think 7 years is like the statute of limitations on HOAs. Is once you don't have a meeting for 7 years, it pretty much defunct under state law. I believe, that's what I was told.
so
once.
wonderful they don't have a covenants to,
Yeah, I mean, you can't enforce an HOA after a certain period of time if you have no HOA committee or anything. It's impossible, so. But I'd have to review state law, that's been a few years since I even looked at that state law. I'm pretty sure it's around 7 years, 7 or 10.
I think that's right.
So at the next meeting, we'll review that information we get from
Susan, she mentioned like fencing,
Mhm.
enforcement and penalties. So you guys are gonna look at all of those and see what currently is under ordinance and then I guess bring back recommendations
Right.
about.
Yeah, that'll be our next agenda.
How about name 3, what were they?
Just the fencing issue and then, enforcement of the ordinances and then penalties for offenders were the three things you mentioned need to be looked at.
That's all I had. Next meeting. November 8th at 4:00.
Remember?
Public Works, Julie.
Yeah, we met, on the 13th, and, they're still researching best options for the generators, whether to do a cooling tower or a radiator. There's no updates on the substation. The planned outage was postponed by Eaton the day of the disconnect because of lack of confidence that the main breaker protective device settings are correct. Eaton working on the new settings to be downloaded to devices prior to testing, and the testing has not been rescheduled. Some of the guys met with the Budget and Finance Committee regarding the new solar field project. They seemed receptive except for the location. Other locations are being discussed and checking with Evergy if any would be acceptable. Evergy would like an answer soon so Baldwin can be included in the first group of cities with the solar installed to be completed in 2024-2025. One inverter at the current solar field had a failure which resulted in the inverter to catch fire. The inverter was sent back to find out what caused that. We already talked about the transformers. Another come and go public information forum is on November 3rd from 6 to 8 at the library regarding brick streets and the half-cent sales tax vote on November 8th. The next meeting is November 10th at 9 o'clock.
City administrator staff comments?
Nothing further.
Strategic plan, yeah, sorry, I crossed it
See how
off.
important you are.
No, I actually had a comment about that, and I completely.
We didn't actually have a meeting, so I didn't report, but I would like to ask the chairpersons for their respective committees, if you have KPI thoughts around, just send them, to Emra, and then she'll get them over to our committee, and so our next meeting is Friday at 3 p.m., and we'll start looking at, any of those that you bring forward, plus
What is KPI?
KPI, key performance indicator.
Things
So
that
if
were
it's,
signed up.
if it's something that we want to focus on,
Yes.
how are we gonna measure it?
So that's one thing I was gonna add to Scott's is, make sure to send those to Amro, once we receive everybody from each committee, that way the strategic plan committee can work those up. So as soon as they're done with their work, I'd like to have another work session. So if you guys could, I think most committees have already discussed it,
Yeah.
so, yeah, if you could just get those to Amro so she can compile those. You good, Scott? Sorry.
Yeah, just want to make sure Friday, 3 p.m.,
Yeah.
second floor City Hall. Make sure we get it.
Okay.
I was looking right past you.
I got it.
Now, city administrator staff comments.
Yeah, same thing, nothing further.
Council comments?
When's your next meeting? When's our next council meeting?
November 1st. I got a couple things. We already talked about the strategic planning one. We did, chief, myself, Glenn, and then one of the sergeants went to Leewood.
Leewood.
Yeah, Leewood PD today to look at one of their Teslas. And I have to say, I was fairly impressed with their setup. They've done a pretty phenomenal job on how they did it. They worked with a local company that did all their setup, I mean, Chief, if you want to get up and just give a quick briefing on, Chief actually got to drive it, today. He got stopped by, I believe the PD officer.
Not true. They couldn't catch me. No, I'm teasing. No, we did go see the electric vehicle that they have. I've been skeptical about even trying that here, just because we're so small and we can't really afford to make a large expenditure that won't work. And try to absorb that in our fleet. I can tell you that all of my questions were answered today. with the exception of one, which I think we would probably be able to vet if we were to try this out. The officer that I spoke with there who talked me through about everything, he considers himself not to be the most tech savvy person at their department, and this vehicle is very simple for him to operate. My biggest concern with going to an electric vehicle, an all electric vehicle, is whether or not it will last a 12-hour shift. We have 12-hour shifts here. This person at Leewood's on an 8-hour shift. And he basically ran that vehicle for 4 hours this morning without a charge and still had 80% of his battery left on the vehicle. So given just that short math there, not knowing exactly how rough and how fast he was using that vehicle throughout that morning, it probably would last a 12-hour shift. Now, the other concerns that I have was about how much space was inside that vehicle, because it has to function for our patrol officers, which means it has to have a cage for transport. It has to be able to house all of the computer equipment inside up by the driver, and also have room for the long guns and things like that that we have to carry for patrol use. This vehicle had all of those things. The computer up front and where the driving compartment is, I'm about an average size for a Baldwin City police officer. There are some larger than me and there are some smaller than me. I fit in there pretty tight, so I'm not exactly 100% great on the seat that comes with it, because it does hug you, and the equipment that we have doesn't fit real well inside that seat, but it is functional. I did function just fine in it. I think some of my larger officers would have probably difficulty getting in and out, more so than I did. But this vehicle, as far as we can go, as far as testing it for ourselves and things like that, I'm more comfortable now moving forward with that test on our own here after having seen it today. I knew the vehicle's capabilities driving were going to be fine, and it does drive very nice. The functionality is what I was looking at, and still needing to know whether or not it will work for a full 12-hour shift. My guess is that it will, and that's if the officer has absolutely no time during the 12-hour shift to come plug it back in for some time. The chances of that happening are very, very, very slim, that they will not have the time to actually plug in somewhere. So that will probably mitigate that. So I can tell you that it was a really good test for us today to go look at it. We were very appreciative of Leewood PD for having us up there to look at it, and they did answer all of our questions. So I don't know if you guys had any questions about it that I could try to answer for you, but I'm a fairly skeptical person when it came to that, as the mayor will attest. But having my questions answered today and looking at it, I would feel comfortable going forward with the test here.
What model was that, you know?
This was the Y model.
Why?
Yes, it's basically they have the sedan with the trunk. This is the larger sedan with the hatch in the back. And I would suggest using that model. That hatch opens up to a compartment back there that will house a lot of equipment for us, easier access. I think the trunk, if we went with the Model 3, which is probably a little bit cheaper, the Model 3 has a trunk that's a little more difficult to get in and out of where the equipment.
Who installs the equipment after you purchase the vehicle?
They used a company out of the Kansas City area called KCOM.
Did they give you approximate cost of getting?
They thought that they didn't have the exact numbers for me, but they paid around $10,000 or $12,000 for the emergency equipment, and then paid an equal amount of that for the installs.
So that brings it up to 80-some thousand.
Well, no, it's going to be more than that, because the vehicle itself, we believe, is probably going to be right around $70,000 without police equipment.
I read in your notes there was about 69,000.
Mm-hmm.
So does the police station have places to plug in electric vehicles?
Our current one now? No, it would have to be outfitted with a Tesla charger if we went with a Tesla brand vehicle.
They use the at-home chargers at their station. So they're 220. It doesn't come with it. They're $500.
Are the chargers universal?
Jerry, I couldn't answer that. I really don't know. I don't know much about the electric vehicle
No, you
market.
have to have adapters.
Have to have an adapter for each vehicle?
Well,
each brand,
Yeah.
make.
Yeah, well, that's what it is.
It's kind of like what a cell phone used to be before they went universal on the cell phones.
My only skepticism about it from the very beginning was kind of tying into what you had said. So does the battery depreciate to where, toward the end of its cycle, you're no longer getting 12 hours out of it, then you have to scale back and charge it more often?
The answer to that is yes,
Okay.
it does, but not significantly, and the battery is actually covered under warranty for 8 years.
And it has a separate battery that charges all the equipment that does not tap into the main vehicle.
Yes, the Tesla, my understanding is the Tesla battery itself maneuvers the car. Tesla does not allow you to tap into that power source in any way. Therefore, for police use, there's a 12-volt battery that comes with that vehicle that all the other equipment runs into. Runs on a completely separate electrical system.
Is it recharged? Is the 12-volt battery recharged by the
Yes.
operation of the vehicle?
Yes,
So you don't have to charge it separately? when
that
you
is
charge it?
correct. That is correct.
Based on, on price, what's the delta to what you're getting quoted for?
We haven't crunched numbers for us here. They were talking about 4 years is when their break-even point, and it's only because they intend to cycle their car out in 4 years because it comes with an 8-year, 120,000 mile warranty on it, full train warranty. They intend to cycle theirs out before they get to 120,000 miles, which is about 4 years. They will not see savings in theirs until they sell that for more money than they can sell it with a warranty, and then buy the second vehicle. It's the second vehicles when they start seeing the savings.
Thanks.
Sure. Thank you,
I'm
guys.
excited to hear all of your
It's good.
skepticism is gone.
Yeah,
I know you have
I
a lot
did-
of valid points, and
Yeah.
But I wish I could have gone with you guys.
And
Sounds
I
like
was
it a
straight
good
up
reason.
with the mayor about, I didn't want to be the guinea pig for
Right.
this project, and I don't think that I really have, because I think Leewood has really done that work for a lot of us already. And to know that there was skepticism there as well, and it's kind of alleviated that. There are several officers that have found that vehicle to be worthwhile.
How long has she been chief
Fantastic
of
news.
police?
I'm sorry?
How long has she been chief of police?
Who?
Is there a chief of police in Leewood, the female?
Yeah, no, Dale Fingers, the chief of police in Leewood.
We had a celebration afterwards.
Yeah?
Chief, yeah.
Sorry I missed that.
Yeah.
I think they were surprised that I was on board,
Yeah,
so,
I'm very pleasantly surprised.
yeah. I do think it's worth the try,
Awesome.
so. Thank you, guys.
Thank
I just
you.
wanted you guys
Thank you.
to just get that quick update.
You did a good job with that,
Likely in the
Mike.
next,
You did a good
at the
job.
next meeting,
Thank
we'll
you.
probably have
You
a
sold me.
proposal to present to the council, because our police department's already 3 cars down. Not ordered for the last.
What is the
Tesla's not 60 days.
Is it 60?
I thought you should too. Wasn't gonna bring
I
that
don't
up.
talk shop.
All right, any other comments?
Did you write in?
I did not write any. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move we adjourn.
Second.
Moved in second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes, we're adjourned.
Susan beat me.